Moneyball is a film that's directed by Bennett Miller. It stars Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Moneyball is the story of Billy Beane, who's the general manager for the Oakland Athletics, as he tries to build a roster off of a very small budget for his MLB team. As he builds this roster, he uses players who other people don't necessarily think of as star caliber players, but he's risking, along with his partner in crime, Peter Brand, that this idea will work and will help his team win while showing other teams in the league and the world that this can change the game of baseball forever. But sadly, no one believes in this system or Billy for using this system, so he has to go through a lot of hardships just to help this team and to change the game that he loves. Jumping right into this movie, through the very first few opening scenes, we get the picture that Billy is under an extreme amount of stress and pressure. We see that he's losing players. The owner of the team can't afford to give him more money to get those players back or to get better players. He's being backstabbed on trade deals. And then later on, we see that even though he's got all this pressure on the business side of things, he's also got pressure on him to be a good dad as well. There's nothing more that I love in a movie than seeing with my own two eyes visually how a character is feeling and what is going on in their life that is making them the way that they are. When someone just verbally explains to me how a character is feeling and, oh, this is why they're feeling like that way, it just doesn't feel as natural. When you can visually see it with your own two eyes, it feels a lot more natural. And Moneyball does this excellently all throughout the movie, but especially in these first few opening scenes. An excellent example of showing rather than telling is how Bennett Miller uses the character of Billy Beane. Well, he uses us as the audience to connect to him, to connect to that character, by showing us that no one really believes in him. We see countless times throughout the movie where people just blatantly say that Billy's the reason the team's dying, he's the worst manager ever, he's going to run this team into the ground. No one believes him. And then when Billy basically forces the coach to play certain players that Billy wants to play and knows can do well for the team actually starts to win, and they don't even give Billy the credit. They give the coach credit. Watching that, it's incredibly frustrating because you want to see Billy get his credit where credit is due. He's done this basically all by himself, and nobody's given it to him. And even though that's insanely frustrating to watch, it's pretty amazing to see how they use that and really make you feel emotionally connected to Billy as a character. I want to talk about the writing in this movie. Aaron Sorkin knocks it out of the park again, like he's done so many other times with all the other movies that he's written in his career. This is probably not one of his better known works. I don't think a lot of people really focus in on what he's written here. A lot of people kind of write this movie off, or not really write it off, but don't really talk about it as much. I think Aaron Sorkin is really known for his excellent writing in The Social Network. But this, in my opinion, is one of his better screenplays and probably one of the best screenplays he's ever written. Sometimes with based on real life movies, you can see that a writer might write certain aspects of the story or certain characters as being uninteresting or unlikable. And this is something that I really feel like Aaron Sorkin avoids here. He writes characters and the story in a way that you can clearly see what's going on, you can clearly see why these characters want to do something and how they feel about something, and he does that without doing the things that I just mentioned can sometimes happen from time to time in based on real life movies. And that is flawless writing on Aaron Sorkin's part. While we're talking about characters, I want to talk about Brad Pitt's performance as Billy Beane. I think here, Brad Pitt gives one of the best performances that I've personally ever seen him in. He knows exactly how to be in the headspace of this stressed out person while showing how much he loves the game of baseball and he wants to change it for the better because it's his passion and he's not going to let some adversity get in his way. I also would really love to talk about Jonah Hill because he has a great performance in this movie. He plays Peter Brand in a way that still shows off his comedic capabilities while also throwing himself right into this performance. But he doesn't overplay or underplay this performance at all. He just sinks right into this role so much that as you watch him, you feel like, wow, this could be who Jonah Hill really is in real life because he plays him this well, even though I'm sure he's not like that in real life. But he just feels absolutely perfect for this role. And Brad and Jonah, they have excellent chemistry on screen together because of the way that their characters are written. They're written in ways that show how they both feel unwanted and unheard. So, by working together, they get their voices heard and out there in the process for people to listen to. When you have characters that are written and constructed like this, it makes it very easy for your actors, I feel like, anyways, it makes it very easy for your actors to work together very well on screen just because of the way that they're written. This is the last thing I wanted to focus on, but I wanted to talk about how different that this movie actually feels, or has a story that is a little bit different from your average sports movie. In your average sports movie, it's going to consist of an underdog team, and it's going to focus on maybe the coach of the team, a player on the team, or just the team as a whole. And what happens in Moneyball is that instead of focusing on either A, B, or C, they kind of go with the D option and instead look at the general manager. So this is a very interesting view to see. And I love sports movies. I love the formula that sports movies use. You get that underdog story where normally towards the end of the movie, a player has to step up, or like the team has to step up because they're going to lose. And while you still get moments like that in Moneyball, I feel like this is a very interesting view on the take of sports movies. It brings in a whole different angle that we haven't really thought of before when we make sports films. So I really like that. I was thinking the other day, I really don't know what to grade this movie. I was wanting to give it a 5, or as a letter grade an A+, but there was something that it was holding me back, and I was like, I don't think I can give this a perfect grade. But yesterday I was thinking to myself, you know what, you like this movie, and you can't find one thing wrong with it, so you know what, just go for the perfect grade. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 stars, or an A+ as the letter grade. I think, personally, this movie is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you should see it right now. You need to go and watch this thing because it's absolutely fantastic. Even if you don't like sports movies, I feel like you will still like this. That is going to do it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw here, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos are posted, which will be weekly. Thanks again for watching, and the review is now concluded.